In December 1994, Sony Computer Entertainment officially released their console, known only as the PlayStation. PlayStation officially launched in September 1995 in the US and Europe.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
How do you know PlayStation is not a normal game system? It carries these telltale signs. Scientists say its effects are mind-boggling. Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world.
With a strong lineup of games such as Parappa the Rapper and Crash Bandicoot, the most powerful gaming console available, an advanced DualShock controller, and backed by a smart and provocative marketing campaign, the PlayStation became one of the best-selling game consoles of all time.
Sony PlayStation 2 will be the biggest thing to come along since TV was invented.
PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2, newest, fastest video game system ever.
In 2000, PlayStation 2 arrived and was a massive overnight success, with units going for as high as $1,000 on eBay. Stores quickly sold out, and the PlayStation 2 pushed its way to becoming the best-selling console of all time.
Sony's PlayStation 2 is here, it is hot.
Is quickly disappearing from stores on its first day on sale nationwide.
With a massive library of over 10,000 games and exclusives such as Eco, God of War, Gran Turismo, and more, PlayStation 2 would sell more than 150 million consoles worldwide.
Your PlayStation. I got a tip that you were making the PS3 $299. Confirm or deny?
$2.99? Bernie, you can't believe everything you read on the internet. That's how World War I got started. While $2.99 for the sweetest gaming, Blu-ray playing, movie downloading system in the world would be fantastic. No comment.
After the massive success of both PlayStation 1 and 2, Sony Computer Entertainment officially announced the groundbreaking PlayStation 3 at the Electronic Entertainment Expo of 2005. PlayStation 3 featured a state-of-the-art Blu-ray player, the all-new cell processor, an ultra-powerful graphics chip, a larger hard drive, and HDMI capabilities. The new technology in PlayStation 3 helped developers usher in a new era of deep, immersive, high-definition gaming. The launch of PS3 also brought with it the launch of the PlayStation Network, which ushered in a new era of connecting gaming and entertainment for PlayStation fans with a massive library of downloadable titles, cloud storage for game saves, and a rollout of apps such as Netflix, YouTube, NFL Sunday Ticket, and more, as well as PS Plus, a subscription service offering gamers free monthly game releases, access to early betas, special discounts, and more. Armed with its innovative technology, games such as Uncharted and Little Big Planet, and its deep online network, PlayStation 3 continues to be the go-to destination for games and entertainment.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
Edited Jaitiy, where's the rest of the footage at?
Oh, my bad.
For instance, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 gamers. They can trade in the game at retail. PlayStation 4.
Who are you to be anonymous, to deny greatness? You will deny to yourself, and we will not be denied.
Well, this sucks.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. It's Jaitiy was popping. Yeah. Man, I told y'all I'm taking YouTube serious this year. Y'all probably thought I wasn't going to come back anytime soon, but we got to talk about the Fraud Station 5, man. I am someone who has owned almost every single PlayStation device you can possibly think of. Well, except the PlayStation Portal, PSP and PS Vita Greater. Also, by the way, did anyone actually own the PlayStation Move? Because I swear to you, I have never seen anyone with the PlayStation Move in their house, bruh. Out of all the PlayStation generations I have ever been a part of, the PlayStation 5 honestly feels like a nothing burger because nothing happened. And it feels like this console generation hasn't even started yet. This console has now been out for 5 years, and now we are in the year of 2026. We got approximately until 2027 to 2029 before the PlayStation 6 comes out. Like, there's so many things that I gotta talk about in this video, and just to warn y'all in advance, I am going to be very upset in my tone throughout this whole entire video, bruh. And I actually wanted to release this video last year, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna finish Ghost of Jaitiy first because I really wanted to go hard in that video, and then I'll talk about it. So now that that Ghost of Jaitiy's video is done, let's talk about everything PlayStation messed up on this generation, shall we? One of the things I really miss about the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4 is how you were actually able to make your PlayStation user interface feel exactly like yours. Then there's the PS5. The PlayStation community has been begging Sony to bring back custom themes, but on the Fraud Station 5, 5 years in, we still don't have it? On PlayStation 3, I was using the Mirror's Edge theme till the end of time. And shout out to my homegirl Faith Connors because we ain't never gonna see her again, man. And on the PlayStation 4, I was rocking the Persona 5 Makoto theme, my favorite character from Persona 5, and I love Persona, y'all have no idea. So you can only imagine when I bought my PS5 and launched it for the very first time and realized I couldn't use the theme that I bought on the PlayStation 4. Oh, I bought this PS4 theme for nothing. It's fake. And then you see what we have on the PlayStation 5, and I'm sorry, these themes are ass. And even when you do put on a PS5 theme to select, I chose the Stellar Blade one just because I like the game, and I mean, it's better than nothing at this point. When you move the D-pad over anywhere, it gets rid of the theme. So it's not even really a theme to begin with because it doesn't stay on screen. PlayStation, you really made it to where I can only see my theme in one section? Really? And speaking of which, remember when PlayStation actually introduced the PlayStation 30th anniversary themes to where you were able to choose a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, or PlayStation 4 theme that you wanted to choose? So many people in the PlayStation community really love these themes. The option to be able to choose whatever your favorite era of PlayStation is, it was a nice addition. Like, my favorite era of PlayStation is the PlayStation 2. That is still my favorite PlayStation console to this day. And a lot of people who's been gaming since the PlayStation 1, like myself, we have been gaming on PlayStation for a very long time. So you can only imagine how me and other people felt when we figured out that these themes were only a limited time thing because PlayStation was actually planning to remove them. And if it wasn't for the PlayStation's community's response, they actually would have got rid of them entirely. But let's be honest here, even though a lot of us in the PlayStation community actually vouch for this, for them to keep it, let's not act surprised if they actually bring it back. But in order for you to keep these themes, you actually have to pay for it. Like, I honestly wouldn't be surprised at this point. The next thing I want to talk about is the folders that was introduced on the PlayStation 4. So on the PlayStation 4, instead of you having to go through all your PlayStation 4 games that you bought through PlayStation 4's life cycle, you had the ability to make folders that you could put on your home screen so that way you can organize your game a lot easier and they are easier to select from. Well, guess what? The PlayStation 5, you think you get that? No, nigga! So what the PlayStation 5 has now is not folders, it's actually your game list, to where you have to go to your library and select the games that you actually want to put in the list so that way you know where they always are. This is my very first time doing this, so I decided to do it with all the fighting games that I had on my console that I bought. But even though I did make the game list for my fighting games, when I go back to the home screen on PlayStation again, the game list doesn't even show up. Even with me going to my PS5 widgets, there's no option for me to be able to add a game list to the home screen on the PlayStation. So for you to even find where your game list is, you have to go all the way to the right, back to your game library again, just to see that the game list is there. Like, I already know it's there, I just want to put it on my home screen. Why did they make this so ass backwards? And the possibility we're not even going to be able to get custom themes or folders until the PlayStation 6 is boggling my mind right now. Also, the last one, remember on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, you were actually able to access an internet browser Do you know the way you have to access the internet browser on the PlayStation 5? Let me just show you this video.
We're going to go to users and accounts. Then you want to scroll down and go to linked services, and we're going to go to YouTube. Now, once you're here, it's going to ask you to link, and you want to select link. And from here, scroll down and select use browser in the bottom right corner. So after you've done that, what you want to do is select terms in the bottom right corner, and that'll bring you to this page. And from here, you want to select the Google Apps icon in the top right corner, and this is where you'll be able to go to Google Search as well as YouTube and more. So in this example, I'm just going to go to YouTube, but feel free to go to Google Search if you want to look up something specific.
The fact that you have to even do any of this just to be able to access the internet browser on the PlayStation 5, and you have to do this every single time you want to go to the browser, just go to the next section. This is pissing me off. Game subscriptions just for you to play online for a game you already bought is one of the worst things that happened to gaming. And shout out to Xbox for being the first people to have a Xbox Live Gold membership to where that was the only way to play online. Because of y'all paying for that, that's the reason we have it for PlayStation Now. Y'all make me sick. So PlayStation Plus was introduced when Sony made that PS4 E3 conference in 2013, but when people realized that you did have to have PlayStation Plus just to play games online, people in the PlayStation community were very split. You had some people who agreed with it because they were going to be getting better servers, a free game, etc. And you have some people like me who did not want to pay for online at all. But even though I hated the fact that I had to pay for online now, at least with PlayStation Plus back then, even though I still didn't like it, the prices were a lot more justifiable compared to today. The 1 month has always stayed the same. The 1 month cost $9.99. 3 months of PlayStation Plus back then cost $17.99, and a year of PlayStation Plus back then cost $49.99. So comparing that to the Xbox Live prices before, you know, they started doing the Game Passes thing, the 3 months and the 12 months was cheaper, and PlayStation Plus back then was cheaper than games that you actually bought, because back then it was $59.99 for new games. And also people were happy with the fact that we were getting cloud saves and a free quote-unquote game. But we're going to talk about that later. If you ask me today, do I think that PlayStation Plus is justifiable in 2026? Hell no! Hell no, man. So many people talked about how good Xbox Game Pass was, because you got in so many games and you would get brand new games day one for a low price. Also, this is before the price changes. If you talk about Xbox Game Pass now, we ain't doing that. If there's one thing about Xbox, they're always going to mess up something, like how they did back in 2013 with the release of the Xbox One, talking about you always had to be online, you couldn't buy any used games, you were forced to buy the Kinect with your Xbox One console, you couldn't just get the Xbox One console by itself. And remember this dickhead who ruined Xbox's whole career with this one quote?
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
But one console in particular is really struggling, and that's the Xbox. According to Circana Senior Director Matt Piscatella, Xbox Series consoles dollar sales were down a whopping 70% year over year.
Xbox already know they've been lost. They're not even trying to compete with PlayStation anymore. They just want you to play their games at this point and put their games anywhere. They even put their big three of Xbox, Gears of War, Forza, and Halo on PlayStation. Do I need to say anymore? But let me get back to the topic at hand. Xbox already gets clowned way too much anyway. So because of how much people love Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation, they decided to change how PlayStation Plus works. Now, PlayStation Plus, they have tiers. They have an essential tier, an extra tier, and a premium tier. Now, they also have a deluxe tier in some locations, but I live in the US, so I'm only going to be talking about the 3 tiers that I have on screen. So first, we are starting off with the PlayStation Plus Essential tier. This is the basic tier that we always had since PlayStation Plus was first introduced. This is not worth the money at all. So the 1 month is still the same. The 3 months is now $24.99, the same as it was on Xbox Live Gold. And oh my Jesus, the 1 year of PlayStation Plus costs $79.99. Fuck wrong with them? You are out of your goddamn mind thinking I'm going to be paying $79.99 a year for basic features. And some of these features I didn't even ask for. Especially considering the fact that PlayStation Plus a year now costs more than a brand new video game. Let's just start talking about these tiers. This is making me upset, bruh. So the first thing that they give you is monthly games. So this is what I wanted to talk about. A lot of people always try to use the thing, be like, hey, with PlayStation Plus, we get free games. No. You are getting free games because you are paying for a subscription service. Because when your PlayStation Plus runs out and you try to play those free games that you downloaded, you can't play them no more? That's just a marketing tactic that business use just to make people feel good about what they're paying for. And let's be honest, PlayStation Plus games that we get is either going to be a hit or a miss. Remember the first month of January where they gave you Suicide Squad? Oh, these guys are funny, bruh. It's not to say that they have bad games all the time. Like, you know, they have Bomber Cyberpunk at some point. Y'all know I love that game. I use the OST in almost every single video I do. They had Liza P on there. One of the best Souls-like games I ever played, by the way. And Alan Wake 2, bro, go play Alan Wake 2, please. But the thing is like, most of the games that's on this PlayStation Plus list are either games I've already played or games that I researched about and I just was not interested in playing the game, so... And I know there are people who can't play, like, every single game and such. Like, even me, I can't play every single game. But the thing is just like, you can honestly wait for most of these games to go on sale to play them because you can find them at a cheap price anyway. So for me, this ain't worth it. Next. Online multiplayer. Y'all really have the audacity to put this on here. I have never seen a single PlayStation user be happy about the fact that they have to pay for a subscription service just to play online for a game that they already bought. Especially the fact because on the PS3, it was free! Online gaming on PlayStation should be free. Hell, online gaming on consoles should be free. But in conclusion, PlayStation, you suck! Next. Exclusive discounts. Now this one is actually hilarious because apparently this is supposed to be tailored to your experience, quote unquote, right? I get PlayStation Plus discounts on games like this. What the hell is this? And what is this AI swap? So this is not worth it either. Next. Exclusive content was one that I was very confused on because I was like, what are they talking about? But what they mean by exclusive content is with certain games, like by being a PlayStation Plus members, you're able to get the skin like you did for like Marvel Rivals Spider-Man and some Fortnite skins and stuff like that. I mean, the Marvel Rivals Spider-Man skin was cool, but Fortnite, bro, you can find way more cooler skins in Fortnite than this. Next, cloud storage. Yeah, the same thing that Steam and Xbox don't have to pay for, by the way. Next, and SharePlay. SharePlay, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I have not used this feature since the PlayStation 4. If you use SharePlay with people still, that's cool, but I haven't used this since 2014. So all in all, for the $79.99 a year for PlayStation Plus Essential, is this worth it? No! And now since we are getting to the upper tiers, the prices are different. 1 month of extra costs $14.99. 3 months of extra costs $39.99, and 12 months of extra cost a whopping total of $134.99. God damn! And with extra, you get everything that you get in the essential tier, which I don't think is worth a damn. And you get access to PlayStation Game Catalog and Ubisoft Classics. So with the game catalog with the pictures that you see on screen, all of these games you can play at any time just for being an extra member. Ubisoft Classics catalog, which means you'll be able to play the Assassin's Creed games, Far Cry games, Tom Clancy games, etc. But it's always something with Ubisoft, man. Where is the Splinter Cell games at? Are y'all gonna act like that Sam Fisher doesn't exist? And where is the Prince of Oh yeah, that's right. They canceled the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, and then they canceled 6 games on top of that! Ubisoft is always something with you, man. Sadly for me though, extra is not really worth it to me either because a lot of the games in the PlayStation game catalog I've already played. And just like I said earlier, I can just wait for a sale if I want to play like any of these games without having to pay the extra money for extra. And I already played most of the Ubisoft games because, you know, like, I essentially grew up playing Ubisoft games. On the other hand, PlayStation, they can actually remove the Ubisoft Classic Plus games or the game catalog games at, like, any point. So imagine you playing the game because you got PlayStation Plus Extra and then the game is no longer on there, so now you can't even play it. Like, that's another reason personally for me to why I wouldn't get Extra either. So we made it to the very last tier, so the prices decreased again. So 1 month of premium is $17.99. 3 months of premium is $49.99. The same price we used to pay for a year of PlayStation Plus on a PS4 back in the day. 12 months of PlayStation Plus Premium costs $160. Lord, I bet. And let me get this out of the way. Premium is not worth it at all if you ask me. So PlayStation Premium, you get game trials. I can't even control my laughter for this one. Like, bro, we had to pay for premium just to get access to game trials. I'm going to keep it moving because I was about to say something really crazy. And cloud streaming, this is only worth it for people who have the PlayStation Portal. If you don't have a PlayStation Portal, what is the point of this? The movie catalog. I've never heard of one person saying they are paying for PlayStation Plus to get the movie catalog. Also forgot to mention, depending on the tier you buy, you get movie credits to watch movies, which I guess. So the main thing I feel people are going to get this tier for is the Classics catalog. And the Classic catalog is supposed to represent the best games of the PlayStation era for PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. But when you look at all the games they have for that catalog, you're like, that's it? Like, sure, they got games like Sly Cooper 1 through 3 on there. Shout out to my Sly Cooper people because you made it happen. I love y'all. They have Jak and Daxter, Tekken 2, Beyond Two Souls, Dino Crisis, etc. But considering I named all those consoles, and there are games that are just practically missing when you think of, I don't know, a PlayStation Classics catalog. Like, you have the Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper games, but you don't have all the Ratchet and Clank games. You don't have Tekken 4 or Tekken 5, and even with Tekken 6, you have the PSP version and not the PS3 version. Like, bruh, you don't have Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, or Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PlayStation 1. No Heavenly Swords. You got God of War 3, but you don't got God of War 1 or 2 on here. Classic WWE games. I can go on and on about games that are just not here. And considering this is like your biggest selling point for PlayStation Plus Premium, I just do not think this is not worth it at all. Sorry, not sorry. I yapped here long enough. Let's go to the next section. Now we are going to be talking about the decisions that Sony have made for PlayStation this generation, and it hasn't been good. So the first thing I want to talk about is the PlayStation 5 Pro. So just like the PlayStation 4 when they had a Pro version for their console, the PlayStation 5 also had a Pro version of its console. And you know, with the better hardware, you was going to get better visuals, frame rates, etc. And also they were using, I think it's called PSSR upscaling, kind of like what Nvidia does with their DLSS. But honestly speaking, when Sony showed off that first trailer for the PlayStation 5 Pro and trying to compare it to the base PS5, it was kind of just like, what's the difference? Because the examples they showed, like, unless you have like a telescope to really see what was going on, you really couldn't tell the difference between the two because they did a terrible job showing it. But that's not to say today there aren't examples of the PS5 Pro with certain games having better visuals and a better performance and frame rate. These are examples of games that do really great on the PS5 Pro compared to the base PS5, but the biggest problem is like the games are very few in between of like which games are really getting that PS5 Pro enhancement. And also the PSSR upscaling is not really perfect either. In a lot of cases, a game, from what Digital Foundry found, a lot of time in games you'll just start to see the game having like all these different flicker areas just by having this upscaler on. And even the worst case to where Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, there were points to where the base PS5 ran better than the PS5 Pro in performance mode. Man, that is a head scratcher, I'm not gonna lie. So you can definitely tell that the PlayStation 5 Pro, they just wanted to put this out to really test how games run with the upscaler for PSSR. And that's also leading to my next point, which is the price. So the PlayStation 4 Pro when it came out was the same exact price of the PS4 when it came out, which was $399, which, especially if you didn't have a PS4 at the time, that was a steal. But the PS5 Pro on the other hand, jeez! So to give you a comparison before the tariffs happened, the PS5 Digital Edition was $399, the PS5 Physical Edition was $499, and the PS5 Pro was $699. And what's so scummy about this is that with the PlayStation 5 Pro, Sony for some reason decided, oh, that vertical stand in the disk drive that came with the original PS5 that you bought, oh yeah, now you gotta get it separately. What? When the PS4 Pro came out, it came with everything that the base PS4 came with. Also, to add to it, the PS4 was more cheaper than the PS4 Pro when it came out because usually the prices of consoles go down over time. But with the PlayStation 5, because of the tariffs, now everything is even more expensive because all of the PlayStation 5 prices went up. The digital PS5 is $499, the physical PS5 is $550, and the PS5 Pro costs $750 now. And keep in mind, this is only if you want just the PS5 Pro alone. If you want to get the PS5 Pro with the vertical stand and the disk drive, you are paying $900. You must be out of your goddamn mind that I'm going to be paying $900 for a console just to have a physical version of items that should have been included anyway. And considering not every single game is going to get like a PS5 Pro enhanced experience, and like, I honestly don't think that is worth the price. And keep in mind, this is just the US prices for me, so I can only imagine how much a PS5 Pro with everything costs overseas. Like, we're not talking about this anymore, let's go on. So now, time for a quick story time. Y'all remember when Black Myth Wukong was coming out? I was so excited for this game. I was someone who was really interested in the lore of Wukong and like everything he went through, and also I read the book of Journey to the West because I wanted to know more about him. But sadly, when the game actually came out, this game ran like shit on the PS5. I mean, the game constantly had frame drops, and this one to this day still bugs me.
I think the biggest issue with the performance mode, at least to me personally, is probably latency, because you're getting the frame rate response of a 60 FPS game, but with input response that is likely worse than the game at 30 FPS based on what we know about frame generation technologies, and there's a perceptibly laggy feeling to the controls, and it doesn't feel that great even with camera sensitivity turned up to compensate. I still felt like this is a weirdly laggy game.
I did not buy this base PS5 console to be playing games in 30 FPS because I always prefer responsiveness over graphics. So I was thinking, you know, I only played the game for about an hour or so. I'm just going to ask the Sony representative to refund the game. Turn down the volume, by the way, because I'm about to get very loud. So the conversation with the Sony representative essentially went like this. Here goes my Sony information and the transaction number that you need for the game I bought. And the representative basically said, and I quote, "As soon as you download a game digitally, you can't refund it." How in the hell? That makes absolutely no fucking sense. You are basically telling me because it's a digital game that I bought and me just downloading it to my console without even properly testing it, I can't get a refund for it? Are you out of your damn mind? Anywhere else, if there is a problem that you have with a service, no matter what I deal with, if I have an issue with the item that I purchased, I'm going to get a refund back for it anywhere else. But for some reason, for Sony, for PlayStation, you can't refund it back. That is stupid. And the fact that I only played Black Myth Wukong for an hour at that point, like, bro, I was so pissed off. Like, I honestly need a lot more people to talk about PlayStation's refund policy because there is no reason they should not be getting away with this shit. And Jim Ryan, the man who was so focused on the live service game model because they wanted money so bad, the PlayStation executives were probably dead to like Shane McMahon thinking they were going to get Fortnite bread. Y'all remember Concord, a game that flopped so miserably they had to take it away from the PlayStation store because it looked like a very generic hero shooter game? This game costed $400 million to make. How? Then they were talking about making a God of War live service. Like, y'all niggas can't be for real. And the one that pisses me off to this day, I love the Last of Us 1 multiplayer so much. I played it a lot on the PlayStation 3, bro. So you can only imagine when they came out and said, "Oh yeah, the Last of Us 2 multiplayer, we're canceling it." Oh, brother, y'all stink!
This guy stinks!
Also, a lot of live service games that PlayStation were actually doing, like Twisted Metal, Spider-Man, Payback. Out of all 12 live service games, 8 of them have been canceled. And the only recognizable live service game that I actually know about, but I never played, but it's just that recognizable, is Helldivers 2 because of how much people love that game. By the way, speaking of Helldivers 2, Sony being Sony, they tried to force PC players to have a PlayStation sign-in just to be able to play the game on PC. Which, by the way, not every region has the ability to be able to do this. And it got so bad that there was backlash everywhere for this to where Sony had to overturn it because they know they messed up. Sony, I need you to get your head out of your ass. And going back to what makes PlayStation, the variety of games that we're able to play and the exclusive for the damn system because it has no games. So we made it to the last section and the things that matter most on the console, the games. So sing with me, everybody. We have no games. I decided to put this to the test. So I compared the PlayStation 5 to the PlayStation 4 for the first 5 years in. I did some research about how many exclusives were actually on PS4 and PS5 and games that were only on those consoles during that time. So the PlayStation 4, 5 years in, had a total of near 30 games of exclusive games that you can only play on the PlayStation 4. Now, let's get to the PS5. The PS5, the first 5 years in to where you can only play the game on the PS5 is only 8 games. And here's some things I want to get out the way. I understand, 2020, COVID happened and, like, it slowed down a lot of things. I get that. And I also understand there's a lot of people who will always be on console no matter what. And if you're one of those console people who are very happy with your PlayStation 5 or any of the consoles you own and you never want to go to PC, that's completely fine. But for someone like me who's been a PlayStation user for 25 plus years now, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, this generation, PlayStation has lost its value to me. Especially the fact that after about a year or two, a lot of these games go to PC anyway, so PlayStation is no longer a place to where you can only play PlayStation games anymore. Also on PC, you wouldn't really have to worry about choosing the graphics or performance mode because on PC you get to tailor the game to your experience for what you want for the game. Only problem is you gotta worry about if the game is going to be optimized or not. Also, something else I've been wanting to talk about with PlayStation for a while is how it feels like with certain PlayStation sequels that come out, it always feels like the sequel has a worse story than the first game. With the exception of God of War Ragnarok and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, those sequels were pretty good. Horizon Zero Dawn overall feels like a way better game to me than Horizon Forbidden West. Like, sure, the game looks more prettier, but like everything else is, ooh, it's a mess. If I talk about this game, I will be here forever. Marvel Spider-Man 2, they improved the game in aspects, but the story just overall compared to the first one was oof. Hell, even with Marvel Spider-Man 2, we haven't even got no DLC compared to the first Marvel Spider-Man game. And with Ghost of Jaitiy, they improved the game in a lot of areas, but when it comes to the story again, I like Jaitiy's story more than Atsu's story. Atsu's story, when you get to a certain point, the game just becomes rushed out of nowhere. The Last of Us 2 Okay, you know what? This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while too. PlayStation, what is up with you having the remasters and remakes for this generation that we don't need? The Last of Us 2 remastered. Why? The Last of Us 1 remake. Why? Horizon Zero Dawn remake. Why? Like Guerrilla Games, if you wanted to remake anything, Killzone Trilogy is right there. And the fact you haven't done a Bloodborne remake, considering that hella people have been asking for it, is crazy. And last thing I need Sony to go back to is making mid/smaller size games again. More games like Returnal, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Astrobot. All three of these games were loved by people who played them. And Astrobot even won Game of the Year in 2024. And the reason I'm asking for this is it takes a AAA game a long time to come out. Most AAA game sequels take an average around 5 to 6 years to come out. And if it's a brand new IP that hasn't even had a game yet, you're going to be waiting for that game for a while, considering that most AAA games that come out nowadays have an average cost of $200 to $400 million. And look at Naughty Dog, for example. This used to be one of my favorite PlayStation studios. This generation, all they have done is a remake and a remaster. And then the only thing we do have about their new game, which is Intergalactic, is that one trailer, and we have not seen anything about it ever since. It felt like this console generation hasn't even felt like it truly started for the PS5 yet. And I want PlayStation to go back to how it used to be, to where we used to have a lot more variety of games and they took more risks on the games that they were actually trying to put out. Not every single game for me has to be a AAA game just for me to enjoy it. PlayStation, you have to remember why people bought your console in the first place. I'm just gonna leave it at that. In the end, I really hope PlayStation learns from its mistakes and actually go back to the PlayStation that delivers great variety and exclusive games. Listen to what the PlayStation community is saying. Give them features that they have been requesting for. Give them more value as a consumer. Give them a reason as to why they should be buying a PlayStation. And show them why PlayStation is a great place to play your games. Because honestly speaking, if nothing really changes from PlayStation from here on forward, I could honestly see long-time PlayStation players like myself and others leaving. Like, I've been a console only gamer for a very long time, and the fact that I want to go to PC now is crazy. I never thought I would do that. So we're just going to see how the rest of the PS5 console generation plays out to see if anything changes for the best or the possible worst. If I feel like I can get a better experience as a consumer somewhere else, I'm going to go there no matter how loyal I have been to you. But that's all I got. I've been yelling and talking in this video for way too long. So till next time, I'll catch y'all later to better days. Jaitiy.